In the fertile crescent of Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers wove their way across the landscape, the seeds of civilization were planted. But this wasn't just about geography, it was about vision. The Sumerians, shaped by the demands of an unpredictable environment, turned challenges into innovation, creating the first society that moved beyond survival into structure, culture, and legacy. Why here? Why them? The fertile alluvial soil made agriculture possible, but the rivers were capricious, prone to floods that could destroy as much as they nurtured. To thrive, the Sumerians had to organize. They built irrigation canals to tame the rivers, transforming water into wealth and enabling their communities to grow. This wasn't luck, it was ingenuity and collective effort directed by the earliest centralized systems of governance. Their crowning achievement was the rise of cities. Uruk, one of the world's first metropolises, wasn't just a cluster of buildings. It was a center of human ambition, home to tens of thousands. At its heart stood the White Temple, a structure that symbolized humanity's first attempt to touch the heavens. But perhaps Uruk's greatest contribution wasn't stone. It was the written word. Writing emerged here, born of necessity, to document trade, laws, and stories, forever changing the way humans communicated and preserved their knowledge. The Sumerians were more than builders. They were visionaries. They showed that by organizing labor, managing resources, and uniting around shared goals, humanity could rise beyond the constraints of nature. In their cities, we see the blueprint of modern civilization, a triumph of collective effort and unrelenting curiosity. Across the sprawling plains of Mesopotamia, the Sumerians built city-states that became models of urban innovation. Each city was a world unto itself, distinct in its gods, governance, and culture, yet unified by a shared drive to create and endure. Uruk, the first great city, stood as a beacon of progress. Its streets bustled with life. Merchants trading goods from distant lands, artisans crafting tools and pottery, and priests conducting rituals atop towering ziggurats. Uruk wasn't just a city, it was a symbol of human potential. Ur, another jewel of Sumer, became a hub of trade and religious devotion. Its famed ziggurat, dedicated to Nanna, the moon god, dominated the skyline and the cultural life of its people. From Ur's ports, goods like lapis lazuli and cedarwood flowed, connecting Mesopotamia to regions as far as the Indus Valley. These trade networks weren't just economic lifelines, they were conduits for ideas and innovation, enriching every aspect of Sumerian life. Then there was Lagash, renowned for its ingenuity in harnessing the power of water. Its expansive irrigation systems transformed barren land into fertile fields, ensuring food security even in the face of nature's unpredictability. These cities thrived because of their ability to plan, adapt, and innovate. At the core of each city was its ziggurat, a monument that served as more than a temple. These structures were central to the city's economy, administration, and spirituality, blending the practical with the divine. Around these towering edifices lay orderly streets, workshops, and bustling markets, a testament to the Sumerians' ability to organize and sustain complex societies. The rise of the Sumerian city-states wasn't just about walls or temples, it was about creating systems, irrigation for the fields, markets for commerce, and laws for governance. These cities set the stage for all urban life that followed, proving that civilization isn't built by chance. It's built by vision, determination, and collaboration. In the cities of Sumer, governance wasn't just about authority, it was about balance. Power was shared between the rulers and the priests, the earthly and the divine. At the heart of this system stood the Ensi, the priest-king who served as both a spiritual leader and an administrator. The Ensi wasn't just responsible for managing resources and overseeing construction projects, they were seen as the bridge between humanity and the gods. As the city-states grew and their ambitions expanded, the role of the Lugal, the big man, emerged. Initially, a title reserved for military leaders during times of war, the Lugal became a central figure in governance, taking on duties that extended beyond the battlefield. This shift reflected the changing needs of Sumerian society, where population growth and intercity rivalries demanded stronger, centralized leadership. The priesthood played an equally vital role. Temples, the economic and spiritual hubs of each city-state, controlled vast estates and coordinated the work of thousands. Priests managed the storage and distribution of grain, oversaw trade, and ensured the city adhered to its sacred duties. Their influence wasn't limited to religious ceremonies, it permeated every aspect of life, from managing irrigation systems to organizing labor for major construction projects. And then there was cuneiform, the written word that transformed governance forever. With sharp reeds pressed into wet clay, scribes recorded taxes, trade transactions, and legal decrees. Among these inscriptions was the Code of Ur-Nammu, one of the earliest known legal systems, which outlined principles of fairness and accountability. It wasn't just about punishment, it was about order, creating a society where laws, not whims, governed behavior. Sumerian governance was more than a system. It was a vision of order, balance, and purpose, a blueprint for managing complexity that still resonates in the structures of modern government. Life in the Sumerian city-states was a tapestry of roles and relationships, each thread contributing to the whole. At the top of the social hierarchy were the nobles, the kings who wielded power, the priests who commanded respect, and the wealthy landowners who controlled resources. These elites lived lives of influence, supported by the efforts of those below them. The middle of the hierarchy was populated by commoners, farmers, artisans, and merchants, who formed the backbone of Sumerian society. Farmers toiled in the fields, mastering irrigation techniques to ensure a steady food supply. Artisans created the tools, textiles, and pottery that were both functional and beautiful, while merchants carried these goods far beyond Sumer's borders, forging connections with distant lands. At the base of society were slaves, often captured in war or bound by debt. While their lives were marked by hardship, their labor was essential to maintaining the prosperity of the city-states. They worked in temples, fields, and households, contributing to the systems that supported Sumer's success. Yet, Sumerian society wasn't entirely rigid. Women, though largely confined to domestic and religious roles, enjoyed rights that were advanced for their time. They could own property, manage businesses, and serve as priestesses, demonstrating their importance in both the economy and the spiritual life of their city. Daily life in Sumer was both practical and vibrant. Farmers tracked the flooding of the rivers, artisans filled workshops with the hum of creation, and marketplaces buzzed with the exchange of goods and stories. Music, poetry, and festivals brought communities together, providing moments of joy amidst the toil. Through this shared rhythm of work and celebration, the Sumerians built not just cities, but a civilization where every individual, no matter their role, contributed to the whole. Their society reflected a truth that remains timeless, that the strength of a civilization lies not in its monuments, but in the people who sustain it. The Sumerians' greatest achievement wasn't just their cities or their monuments, it was their systems. They didn't just build, they organized, innovating ways of life that became the foundation of civilization itself. Their cities, with ziggurats at their core, were planned with precision. Streets radiated outward, connecting homes, workshops, and marketplaces. Canals wove through the landscape, carrying life-giving water to fields and neighborhoods alike. These were more than practical designs, they were visions of how humanity could thrive in harmony with its environment. Their governance systems echoed through history. The Code of Ur-Nammu was a bold declaration that justice could be codified and fairness ensured. It laid out penalties for theft, marriage rights, and protections for the vulnerable. Though it predates the famous Code of Hammurabi by centuries, its principles endure in modern legal systems where laws govern behavior and provide stability. Then there was their writing, cuneiform etched into clay, transforming ephemeral thoughts into permanent records. With it, they tracked trade routes, documented temple activities, and preserved stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh. Writing wasn't just a tool, it was a leap forward, enabling communication across generations and distances. Imagine a world without it, a world without history, laws, or literature. The Sumerians ensured we would never return to such a world, but their legacy isn't just found in physical achievements, it's seen in their mindset. They faced challenges, unpredictable floods, rival city-states and limited resources, but responded with ingenuity and collaboration. Their irrigation systems turned deserts into farmland. Their laws turned chaos into order. Their trade turned isolation into connection. The Sumerians proved that progress is born from vision and unity, and their systems remain a testament to what humanity can achieve when we work together. The Sumerians are gone, their cities reduced to ruins and their temples silent. But their story hasn't ended. It's woven into the lives we live today. Every city we build, every law we write, every story we share owes something to their legacy. They weren't just the architects of the ancient world, they were the architects of ideas, building systems that continue to sustain us. In their ziggurats, we see the ambition to reach for the heavens. In their irrigation systems, we see the determination to master nature. In their writing, we see the desire to leave something behind, a record, a legacy, a truth. They taught us that the strength of a civilization lies in its people's ability to innovate and collaborate, to face challenges not with despair but with solutions. Their fall, brought on by environmental shifts and political turmoil, reminds us that progress is fragile. But their achievements remind us that resilience is enduring. The Sumerians didn't just create, they inspired. Their legacy is a call to action, urging us to build systems that not only serve the present but shape the future. From the ruins of Ur and Uruk to the cities of today, their influence is unbroken. They showed us that civilization is not a gift, it's an effort. It's not just built by rulers or priests, but by everyone, working together with vision and purpose. And in their story, we find the ultimate lesson that the past isn't just something to remember, it's something to build upon.